So one of the things I'm hearing you say is I'm going to get my LinkedIn account or my Facebook account, depending on if I'm a lawyer or I sell coffee, and then I need to go out and I need to visit some groups. And once I get there, what do I do?
You would do the same thing online that you would do offline. Offline, if let's use the coffee shop example, since we're sitting in one right now.
Okay. Great idea.
If I owned a coffee shop, I would go on Facebook and I would set up a Facebook fan page, which is a business page, which by the way is free, for my coffee shop. And then I would use the search function on Facebook and I would just type in the word coffee. And I would find people that have already self-identified themselves as people who like coffee. I wouldn't spam them now. I would just start to connect with them, and I can refine that search down to Colorado Springs or whatever I want, right?
Which for coffee would be good, since you're probably not going to go all the way to
Minneapolis.
Right.
Exactly. So now, if I can identify people that have already started some kind of a coffee lovers group, and by the way, if I don't find a coffee lovers group, why don't I start one? Just start a coffee lovers group of Colorado Springs on Facebook. It takes 2 seconds. Then start to connect with people, and I want to add so much value to those people that they would never want to not do business with me. What do I mean by that? I would start to post, here's an interesting article on, Kenyan coffee versus Colombian coffee. I mean, there's plenty of places you can get resources related to anything. We already talked about that with the Google alerts. So I could find out anything I want to find out, and then I would just post information that would attract people into the group because they see it as a resource of value. And by extension, they actually start to create a know, like, trust relationship with my coffee shop. Because when they go to my group and they see that I'm posting interesting information, they automatically like me. So, again, not a lot of heavy mental lifting here. Would a person who's starting to learn about my group and about the way I do business, when they're ready to buy coffee, are they going to think, well, I like Kevin and I like his coffee shop, or let me go find somebody I don't know, don't like, don't trust, and go do business with them? They're never going to do that. They're going to think coffee, that's Kevin. He's the coffee guy. He's the guy that posts those funny, every once in a while he puts something up, maybe a funny YouTube clip up. Or maybe and I'm creating a community of people that like coffee, and they can communicate with each other, and they can talk to the group, and really create a community of people versus just a bunch of people that are getting spammed and buy my coffee, buy my coffee, buy my coffee.
And I'm going to shamelessly plug the Coffee Exchange right now because they've been really nice to let us sit in here. They turned down their music for us, and it's a great place where they have lots of passion for their coffee.
The Coffee Exchange rocks. South Tejon in Colorado Springs. I come here all the time. Great coffee, wonderful people.
So if somebody wanted to ask you questions, they might find you here too.
When I'm in town, I live in Colorado Springs, but I travel quite a bit. But when I'm in town, I actually come here when I'm in town all the time. Yeah, great place.
You told me this is your office, is that right?
When I tell my wife I'm going to the office, she knows this is where I'm coming. Yes.
And so really, it's about sharing what you are very knowledgeable in and what you have a passion for. That's what you go out and you do on the groups.
That would be one of the things, yeah.
Every once in a while, you can shamelessly plug your business, offer a coupon, invite people in.
Absolutely.
Right?
But if you did that all the time, it would really become an infomercial channel.
You said it was 80-20, so 80% information.
80%, think of it kind of like television. Television, you see the show, and every once in a while a commercial comes on. It's the same way with social media. There's nothing really different. Except when you're watching TV, you can't talk back to the TV.
Right.
Here, your customers can talk back to you, can tell you what they like about your shop. Therefore, you can decide how to get better. I always tell people, just be so disarmingly honest with people. If you don't know what to post, why not post, hey, coffee drinkers, what would you see most valuable for us to talk about here? And then they'll tell you what they want. Post what they want. Give people, here's a radical concept. Figure out what people want and then over-deliver. Give it to them in spades.
And I think you've almost got to do what you said. You gave an example earlier about going to a networking party and standing in the corner. And sometimes I feel like a blog is like standing in the corner because you're waiting for somebody to come across your blog when there are 112 million blogs out there.
Yeah.
But by going into these groups of enthusiasts on Facebook and LinkedIn, then if they want to, they can come back to your blog, but if you go to them, then you have a much better opportunity of getting that interaction.
I would agree with that. And I would also say make sure that everything cross-pollinates. On your blog, put a link to your Facebook fan page. On your Facebook fan page, put a link to your blog.
Okay.
On your LinkedIn profile, put a link to your Facebook page. So make sure that they're all connected, because you never know where the next customer is going to come from. Because all these sites now talk to each other. So they're not really silos. They're all interconnected.
Okay, so I see a lot of similarities between LinkedIn and Facebook, except Facebook is maybe more the social aspect. LinkedIn might be more business-to-business type of things. But Twitter seems to me like a little bit different animal. So I'm going to pause here, and we're going to give it its own special spotlight.